The Baseball Together Network presents the Philly Baseball Together podcast with your hosts, Jason and Tory. And now, Philly Baseball Together.
And welcome back to this episode of the Philly Baseball Together podcast. As always, my name is Jason. I am joined by my good friend, Tory. Tory, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Watching the Phillies the last couple of months has been a real joy, as you know.
A joy and sometimes not a pleasure, but
that's right. I mean, hey, when they went 1-5 in that West Coast swing, I was ready to jump off the Ben Franklin Bridge. I was like, here it comes, the September curse. But they've righted ship. It seems like, for right now. And I just read, hang on. So if the Phillies go 500 the rest of the year, the Padres would need to go 13-6, and the Brewers would have to go 15-4 for us to miss the playoffs.
I see you were on Reddit as well today.
I was, What do you mean? That was my own math, What is do you know what is the magic number right now? Is it 14? I think. Does that sound about right?
But I could find out.
Because I was looking around for it, but I wasn't I couldn't really find anything definitive. But I don't know if there's one on MLB.com or something like that. But
I'm looking right now.
Okay.
Let's see here. Phillies' magic number to clinch the playoffs is 18. Games remaining are 21. 6 home, 15 road.
So that's actually worse than I was expecting. I was actually thinking that it was only 14, but 18 is doable. Now I'm sure a lot of people know, what the magic number means. But if there's anybody out there that doesn't, it's any combination of Phillies wins and Brewers losses that equal 19. Or 18, excuse me, means that we are in the playoffs. So if we win 9 games, they lose 9 games, we are in the playoffs. Something like that. Which we'll talk again in maybe a couple weeks. But I don't know, man. I don't even want to jinx it. I don't know, but it's we're trending in the right direction, I feel.
Well, in light of that, they are on pace for the highest win season since 2011.
That's right. What are they on pace for? 91 wins? Is that it?
The last time I saw, they were on pace for 101. That was very early in the week that we're recording.
No, wait, that's impossible because we already have 63 losses right now. So, and there's only 162 games in the
I'm
season.
just going by what Michael Barkan was saying on the post-game show. All right,
man. Michael Barkan's been around for a little while. He might be, I don't know if he's all there. But no. I hate to say it, but we only have 80 wins right now. I think there are 20 games left. So even if we run the table, we wouldn't get to 101. But either way, I don't care. I don't care how many games we win, how many we lose, as long as it ends up with us in the playoffs. And to be quite honest, and this is probably going to sound a little strange, but I don't even care what we do in the playoffs, because at this point I know there are teams that are better than us. Obviously, the Dodgers. The Dodgers look like one of the best teams in the history of baseball. The Braves have been great. The Mets are sliding a little bit right now, but right now I feel like all 3 of those teams are probably better than the Phillies. So if we make it into the playoffs and don't really go too far, honestly, I have no issue with that.
It's setting the table for next season.
That's
just like 07 did for 08.
That's right.
Now here's something I want to throw out there. Because they're pretty well in control of the second wild card slot, which would put them in an unfavorable matchup.
Yeah.
But if they drop down to that third wild card slot, they'd have the Cardinals, which is a more favorable matchup.
Yes, but you know what? And I put this on Reddit a couple weeks ago, just on like the regular baseball subreddit. But the amount of times that the Cardinals seem to like pull magic out of their butt, out of like as like an organization or as like a team. I mean, remember in 2006 they won the World Series with 83 wins. 83 wins. And then obviously in 2011, they came back to shock us. We were up 2-1 in the NLDS. They obviously beat us in 5 games. But it's not just that. It feels like lots of times it just feels like that they could just, they're like, you know what? We haven't made the playoffs for a while. We're 20 games under 500 right about now. But yes, I think we're going to make the playoffs this year. So let's make it happen. And then they do. But that being said, I and who knows, maybe with like a Pujols, they might try to rally around Pujols and everything with him getting like one last hurrah.
Which, you know what? I'm totally enjoying his last
hurrah.
Me
too.
I mean, his last hurrah is good for baseball.
It is. It 100% is, and I desperately want to see him get to 700.
Yeah, I do too.
I really do, because heck, even Griffey didn't hit 700, and I consider Griffey to be one of like the greatest players that I'd ever seen. Now back to your original question though, is who would I rather play in the opening round? I believe it or not, I think I would rather play the Braves. And
now, don't jinx us going into this series.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes, you're right. You're right. Oh man. And now, and I am like the I am the superstitious of the superstitious. I really am. So now I'm just kind of like I'm gonna just say like I want to play the Mets, even though we've gone like 1-20 against them this year or something.
It was not a good year against the Mets.
No. And again, the Mets have had a great year. There's no denying that they look good. But for right now, I in a short series. I mean, if Wheeler comes back and is looking good, Nola, and again, and the Phillies are so deep in pitching right now. Again, I feel like I'm really going to jinx us with all this, but we can almost trot out anybody for a number 3. We could trot out Suarez. We could trot out Falter. We could trot out Syndergaard, even though Syndergaard, I think I would rather use in the bullpen in the playoffs, honestly. Just because I don't know. I haven't been enamored with his pitching.
But he's been exactly what the Phillies need at this point in time.
That's true.
He's more of a workhorse than he is an ace, and that's fine because we don't need a third ace. We didn't win a World Series with 4 aces.
4. Yep, that's right.
I'm not getting started on that.
I know. And it's funny. A lot of people still dislike Cliff Lee because he blew that 4-0 lead against the Cardinals in 2011 in Game 2. Remember, we crushed them in Game 1. Then we had the 4-0 lead in Game 2 that Lee couldn't hold. But personally, for me, it happens. They were the Cardinals that year felt like they were a real team of destiny. They felt like they were just pesky. And it is what it is. But
well, I think that 2011 team was, by that point in the season, I think they were just worn out.
Yeah, and too bad because like they actually got like they clinched so early that also that they rested for a long time too, which can obviously have like detrimental because you want to be more like the 2008 2007 Phillies who kind of like streaked to the finish line because then you go and you have all that momentum and everything, and we've seen that happen time and time again in so many different sports where the best team might not necessarily win. The team that maybe gets the rest might not always win. It's the team that maybe just won the 7-game series and is mentally exhausted but ready to geared up for battle, ready to go. So, but we're getting so far off topic here, though. But again, I think I would rather play the Braves, and also because we played the Braves decently this year. We're 6-6 against them. We what is Castellanos hit that home run to beat them in the the 8th inning, maybe a month and a half ago or so. So we haven't played them poorly. So, I think that would be a real big test to see if we can handle the Braves, because the Braves, I hate to say it, with their lineup and with the contracts that they have right now, I mean, this could be the time to beat them, because they could be a dynasty next year, even with like all their young players. They have Acuna, they have Albies, they have Michael Harris, Spencer Strider, Max Fried. They have so many good young players. It is unbelievable and scary.
And I mean, let's go back into the history books almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
The 93 Phils beat a very good Atlanta Braves team right before they became a dynasty.
That's right. Well, you know what? The Braves actually went to the World Series, and they were already kind of a dynasty because they went to the World Series in 91 and 92. And they lost both years, but I think everybody assumed that the Phillies were just going to get rolled over in that series. And I think the Phillies won Game 1, and then I'm almost positive that they were just like demolished in Games 2 and 3. I want to look this up actually, because I think it was something like 10 to something, the one game. Hang on, I'm looking at this. Yeah, okay. So Game 2, the Phillies lost 14-3. In Game 3, the Phillies lost 9-4. Okay, so but that was obviously the last game of the series that the Phillies would lose, because then they won 2 close games, and they won Game 4 2-1. They won Game 5 4-3 in 10 innings, and then Game 6, I think Schilling was on the mound. We won 6-3. So they got slaughtered in 2 games, but much like the 1960 Pirates, they won 4 close games. For those of you who don't know, now in the 1960 World Series, it was the Yankees and the Pirates. It was a 7-game series. A lot of people consider it to be the best World Series ever, but the 3 games that the Yankees won, the Yankees absolutely slaughtered the Pirates. I mean, just literally just demolished them. The Pirates won 4 close games, but the Pirates in that series, and the Pirates won the World Series on the Mazeroski home run, but the Pirates were outscored in that series, I think something like 55-28, but they won the World Series. So, history lesson.
So I want to dial back here because you did reference a bunch of guys that I have notes on for us to talk about. So the first thing, let's get to this real quick. The Philadelphia Inquirer is stating that with a healthy Wheeler and Sir Anthony, that this team is actually better than the 2017.
That's an interesting thought. Because who did we had Cole Hamels in 2007. Who else were starting pitchers? God, because Myers was in the bullpen.
I
don't think we had Jamie Moyer yet, did we? No, we did. We Jamie Moyer, I think we got in 2006 at the trade deadline.
I think so, yes. Eaton got injured.
Yeah, Eaton.
A contract that we eatened. That was a horrible pun.
I always feel bad because at the ring ceremony for the 2008 team, he got booed so bad, and I kind of felt bad for him.
Justifiably.
Yeah, but I don't know. I kind of feel bad, like for that because I don't feel like anybody wants to get injured, and so like when they do, it's just kind of like but what were they really gonna do though at the same time? Um, oh wait, hang on. I wanted to look up quick what the Phillies rotation was in 2007, and we're doing a lot of like research. Okay, so yeah, we had Cole Hamels, Adam Eaton, Kyle Kendrick, Jamie Moyer, um, Kyle Loesch, remember him?
Barely.
John Lieber, I remember Lieber.
I remember.
Um, yeah, I remember Lieber too. Although he only pitched he was injured, I guess, most of that year because he only had 12 starts. So who the heck was starting for us that year? Freddie Garcia. Remember he had like the one win,
Yes.
that year. Um, so pitching, it really, I mean, it can mean a whole heck of a lot. Like with the 2019 Nationals, and it can mean a whole lot of nothing, like the 2011 Phillies. Um, but yes, I think I would agree with that. Now you had mentioned before about Bailey Falter, though, that been kind of the unsung hero. So what are
I
your thoughts on
firmly
that?
believe. Well, I mean, going into the season, it was pretty much expected he was going to be in AAA for most of the season. Maybe
Hmm.
called up here or there when needed, and which was the case. But I mean, he's someone who he looked a little rough earlier in the season, but he's really come through in flying colors. Um,
Yes.
he's earned his spot, I think.
I want to give him maybe like one more season before like anointing him the savior or something or anything
Well,
like
I
that.
just meant
But
the unsung hero for this team this year.
yes, I would agree with that. Because what is he? I think he's 5-0 already this year. No, he's 5-3. Excuse me, with a 3.80 ERA. I mean that's in 12 starts. 16 games total, and he's only walked 13 batters, struck out 59 in 68 innings. So that's, I mean, yeah, I think that he legitimately does look pretty good. Suarez is another one, as we said before, who I think at the beginning of this year he looked like he was a little off. He didn't look like he was the same person. But now, I mean, look, he's 9-5. His ERA is 3.62. I mean, he's another dependable arm. And that's something I wanted to bring up also is that what really looks like with the Phillies is that they're getting contributions from everybody. They're getting
Yes, they are.
contributions from from the bench, from Garrett Stubbs, from Nick Maton, who I love. I love Maton. From
I know you
Edmundo.
do. I think of that every
Yeah,
time he's in a game.
yeah. And Edmundo Sosa, which I just love his name, you know. Um so, and I think I did read something that another team was saying, like, how are they getting all this, all these contributions from their call ups, and we're getting none, or something like that. I think is what I heard. So another team was saying, um, excuse me, but I'm talking my ear off. So, but please,
No, no,
interject.
continue. I don't mind. I don't mind. You can pontificate. I'm good.
Okay. But yeah, for me, I would think that right now the unsung hero right now is Falter, but I would give Maton a real if he continues, this hot stretch down the stretch, and then I would say that we need to really look at him also.
I would even give. I think Stott has really broken out,
Yeah.
and this is another topic I think we got to touch on. Trey Turner supposedly is the Phillies are a landing spot for Trey Turner.
Hmm.
Supposedly they're targeting Xander Bogaerts. What message does this send to Stott? Who, I mean, he's become a very integral part of this team.
It sends an absolute no message to start because I think everybody's assuming that whoever they sign, whether it be Bogarts or Turner, that they would not re-sign Segura, which is sad, but he is 32, so he's starting to get up there. He would probably be 33 at the start of next year, so I can't see them re-signing him. So then they would move Stott over to second base and play Turner or Bogarts at short. That'd be my take, at least.
That makes the most sense. I just don't want to get into a situation where our young guys are breaking out and we're signing names for the sake of signing names.
Yeah.
And we're hacking our young guys off at the knees, especially when these, like, Stott's a good example. He was mentored by Bryce in spring training. I know for sure Schwarber has kind of taken him under his wing as well. He's made an impression on our veteran players, and that's helping him out immensely.
Yeah. And that's one of the things also, I think, under the Girardi regime, that he didn't have a lot of faith in our young guys. And what do they call them? The babysitter club or whatever? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Or something? Yeah. I think that's what, I could be wrong. But yeah, so that's what the older players are calling, like, the younger guys right now. And I do love, like, the fun that, like, that Stott and, like, Bohm bring to the team now, because they're the guys at the end of the game that are dousing the players in water, right? Isn't that them? That you see them kind of, like, hiding in, like, the back, and then they run and they dump the water. Yeah,
I loved Bryce's comeback game when he's the player of the game and they're interviewing him, and Stott comes out with the 2 cups of water and just gently dumps them on Bryce, and Bryce goes, he's paying for that later.
Yeah, the look on Harper's face, like, he looked like he barely registered it. He just was kind of like, "Yep, I'm now wet," But at the same time, then you're right that he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get him back for that one." But him and Stott are apparently good friends.
That's who bunked with him.
Yeah, that's right. Another player that I wanted to talk about also this year, real quick. I really think Real Muto deserves MVP votes. Not that he's going to win MVP. I don't think he should win MVP, but I would not be surprised if he was in the top 10. Not at all.
I was going to add that into the bullet points, but I wasn't sure how you'd feel about that topic. Not saying in a good way or a bad way. I just wasn't sure if it was something you'd want to get into. So I'm glad you brought it up. At JT's age, what he's doing as a catcher, both defensively and offensively, is pretty outstanding.
Yeah.
And he is having a banger of a season.
Yeah, I mean, he's batting what, 280 now almost. I think he's closing in on 20 home runs with also 20 stolen bases about. I mean, that's rare for a catcher, for one thing, and it's also rare for a catcher who's, what is he? I think he's 30. 30? Does that sound about right?
31.
Okay, 31. Thank you. So, not a spring chicken. But I mean, it just feels like he's somebody that the team really looks up to, and he's a leader in the clubhouse. It seems like to me. We're not there. We don't know for sure, but it definitely seems that way to me.
So let's go at the age route here for a second. How much does it hurt that there's only one player born the year we were born on the team?
Man, who is that? Is that Robertson?
It is.
Nice. Wow. Okay. Good job, Tory. So I mean, it's funny because when it comes
I'm sorry, he was born in 85, not 84.
No,
but he's 37. The age you were. Belated happy birthday to Tory.
Oh,
and the
thank
age
you.
I currently am for another month and 10 days. But 9 days. Month and 9 days.
38 feels all right now. I feel good. I feel good at 38. My 30s were better than my 20s, so hopefully that trend continues. But in any case, I mean, it's funny because, like, I think they mentioned something in that episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when Mac writes to Chase Utley, and I think like D says something to him like, you realize he's younger than you, right? And because Mac was writing to him like he was like a bit like Utley was going to be his big brother or something. But when it comes to sports stars, it feels like that no matter how old they are, it feels like they're older than us for some odd reason. I don't know why.
You know what? I agree with you on that. I do
Yeah.
agree with you on that because it blows my mind for how long Schwarber's been playing.
Yeah.
He was only born in like 90 or 92. Like,
Man. The Schwarbino. I've been really happy with that signing also, by the way. And his average obviously needs a lot to be desired, but he provides pretty much exactly what we would hope. Pop off, pop. He's lead the league in home runs right now. In fact, I think he's the only thing standing in the way of Goldschmidt being triple crowned at the moment.
Goldschmidt, who had a great season for you fantasy wise. I think we need to touch on that.
Oh yeah. Even though I don't think my fantasy team did anything, but it's funny because like I had picked up, somebody in our league had dropped Acuna and they had dropped JD Martinez, and I picked them up and I
dropped
like,
JD Martinez.
Oh, okay. So I picked them both up and I was like, well, I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to lose ever again. And then like, I went on like a 4-week losing streak. And I was so like hard headed. I was like, no, I'm going to keep these players in because they're, because of the name. And that kind of cost me the season a little bit, but whatever. It's fun.
It's costing me the playoffs. My playoffs are being costed because I am without my ace pitcher right now.
Is that Scherzer?
It is Scherzer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm losing to Denise 551 to 634.
I mean, that's still like a battle of the Titans right there with those scores. Hang on. Let me see. I'm going to pull up my, because I'm in the losers bracket right now. I am beating Corey 538 to 415, So, I mean, who knows how that's going to go, but yeah, we'll see. Again, not that it really matters because it's a losers bracket, but yeah, it's all for fun anyway. So what else did you want to touch on Philly wise today? Hang on.
I don't think there's anything else in the notes.
What about, okay, so here's something. What about Sir Anthony? I mean, how good has he been this year and how big has he been for the team?
I will gladly eat crow on this because I remember in our kickoff episode, I was concerned about Sir Anthony being able to sustain for the season. I was, and I own it. I own it.
You do. And I remember saying that he was like he was going to be like the big make or break this year. I said I thought he was going to be good, and I thought we needed him to be good, and he has been. So I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one, But it's true though. I mean, like when he went down with injury, and Knebel also, I mean, the bullpen did not look as strong, not at all. And Roberson did not look like he pitched so well in the ninth for the Cubs, but when it came time for us, he was kind of like, I throw a baseball now right down the middle. So yeah, I think Robertson's better suited for the eighth, Dominguez for the ninth. Yeah. That's just my take. And so hopefully we'll be back here in 2 weeks celebrating a playoff berth, because I would if we clinch, I would love to do a show that night just in celebration. Just because
maybe not that night,
so
maybe
long.
the next day.
That night. No, that's fine. Yeah, the next day is fine. But yeah, because I mean, I really need to see this team in the playoffs, and this next 2 weeks or so, really the next 9 days is the make or break for this team, I think, because it's against the Braves, the Blue Jays, and then the Braves again, and we need to go, like I said, at least 5-4 in those 9 games, and I think we can do that. I really do.
Just the series that I saw them in July against the Braves, the Phils look like an elite team against the Braves the way they played against them. I mean, I go back to that 5-run fifth inning where there wasn't even a home run hit. They won the game on base stealing, good base running, and small ball. Small ball wins games, people.
It's true. It is. It's so true. And I'm excited, if it does come to pass that this is the year that we finally make the playoffs, and hopefully the Mariners make it also, so that we can, both fan bases can celebrate a little bit, because obviously it's been so long.
One more thing here before we wrap it up.
Sure.
One more thing. Rob Thompson, manager of the year.
Yep. Yeah. I know. I really would say if we make the playoffs, absolutely resoundingly yes. If we miss the playoffs, I would still say, that I think I would give that to him. I think I really do. I really think I would, just because he's been so good for the team, and he's been. I think I read an article the other day that they say that the clubhouse is very relaxed right now because of him. And that's what you want. You want to have like the guiding hand. You don't want. I really don't believe that you want the Girardi type or the Dallas Green types who's going to be super intense or anything like that. I mean, maybe some teams need that, but I don't think this team does. But yes, I would say manager of the year. So yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So I guess with that we'll wrap up this show. So real quick, you can find me every other week on the None Other Sports podcast, where myself and my best friend David cover general sports talk geared towards all fans. We are having quite a few runs of episodes here that are doing really well for us. Like to keep that going. We will be recording tonight, actually, for our next episode. So that will drop Sunday, the 18th of September. You can also find me on the Rockin' Randy's Outlaw Mud Show Pro Wrestling Podcast. That is with myself and the other admin and moderators of the Rockin' Randy's group on Facebook. That records the weeks that the None Other Sports Podcast records. So I got a full plate at the moment. Tory, What about your plugs?
Well, you can support Philly Baseball Together podcast and the Baseball Together podcast network by picking up a shirt, cap, hoodie, or more at 9plusus.com. When you go there, listeners of the Philly Baseball Together pod can take 15% off their order by using the code FIPOD at checkout. I also have a YouTube channel where I sing songs, covers mostly. I am the bearded bald baritone. I just did a song a couple of days ago. It was the Elvis movie inspired me, and I did an Elvis song.
I saw that.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you're able, please check that out, because I have a lot of fun doing that, and I really would enjoy growing my channel.
He's a darn good singer.
Thank you.
Not saying this because he's just my friend. He truly does have a good voice, so please check him out.
Thank you.
Well, with that, we hope to talk to you in a few weeks after we clinch a playoff spot. So thank you for joining us for this episode of the Philly Baseball Together podcast. You can find us wherever you get your podcast. Please remember to subscribe, rate, and review. And with that, this episode is out of here.
Out of here.